another goddamn Friday.
Yep, it's Friday.
And as the title of the show suggests, is it the goddamn weekend yet, or is it just another day of the week?
Or as the stomach churns.
Oh, somebody's playing the show in the background.
There we go.
Wait.
We got Night Clover.
No, that was me. My bad. Wait, what's going on, Night Clover? You son of a bitch. So I guess we should really dive into. I guess we should wait a little bit before we dive into the buffets.
I think so. That's a good idea.
So
Because Miss
Mr.
Cheryl
Ferguson.
might be joining us again.
Oh yeah, Mr. Drop Vapes may be tuning in.
There you
So
go.
Brian, how are you doing today, good sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Can't complain. I mean, I can, but I don't
Right.
think you and everybody else wants to hear me complain.
And nobody would listen anyways.
Exactly. Point exactly.
Yep.
And who's texting me? Ugh.
So what's going on, everybody out there in YouTube land?
Yes.
Good to see everybody joining us on a Friday. Not that anybody really has anything better to do at Friday at 2:00, but hey, we're here. We're not going anywhere. I think a lot of people on Fridays are kind of worn out, worn down. And it's gotten to the point where a lot of people in today's economy, too, don't really have the wherewithal to actually want to go out and do things on Friday nights anymore. So they camp out with us, which is good. We welcome everybody. We don't
We don't
discern on
discriminate.
who's coming in and who's going out and what are you doing for the day.
Right.
But I can't believe I lost that stupid little screw in the carpet. That was the worst thing to have happen. I'm digging around on my hands and knees looking for this tiny screw, and I'm going, I can't find this thing. Even if I could, where the heck would it be? And I'm looking in the couch, in between the cushions and everything. It's like, it's not there. Everybody's lost a screw that way.
Ooh, beer vape guys in the chat says hello. I'm at work. Can't hear sound. I just played it a couple of minutes ago on my end. I heard sound.
Yeah, I got sound. Wonder why he's not getting any sound. I think Cheryl's unit took a massive dump.
I have no idea, bro.
Hey, that's happened to me before where, the whole system crashed and it's like, you just sit there and salute it, write it off, and
Right.
get another one.
And I mean, that's why I'm kind of looking into getting a new one.
Well, after a while, they only last for so long. Most laptop batteries nowadays will do 2 years. That's about it. And a lot of those laptop batteries you can't replace yourself. You have to basically open up the whole machine, unsolder a wire, and then try to squeeze one in and solder the wires back. Because
Right.
everything's like on the motherboard nowadays. It's like the one I got, I maxed out on the RAM on it. So there's no other option for me to put more memory into it. But, I'm running 40 gig of RAM, and that's plenty of what I need.
Right.
But a lot of people will sit there and go, well, how do you upgrade the memory in this thing? Well, you don't have much of a choice. There's really not a whole lot you can do.
Right. Some people when they order a computer or whatever, they have to order
Yeah,
the specifications on the
right.
specific site. like on Apple, I can order when I go to order a computer. Like let's say, for example, a MacBook Air. Like what you and I were talking about privately. You know, I could sit there go on Apple, order the specific stuff like the RAM, the storage, everything specific that way. But at the same time, if I want to go more like all like higher up on the stuff, it's going to be
Right.
way more expensive than what the standard stuff it's supposed to come with.
Oh, sure.
I know if I get like a 510 gigabyte thing, it's gonna
That's with the orange panels. Now, should I go orange or black?
black still.
Black?
Now, Brian, I think we should get into the buffet since we are about
Yeah, that
6 minutes
sounds
in.
like a good plan.
Would you like to start?
I could do that. Well, today I've got my Pulse AIO V2 custom 3D printed panels, and even on the bottom one, I ditched the original panels because they were just so soft of material, they were just looking ugly. And I've got in that Pulse V2, I've got a liquid that I whipped up. It's called Summer Splash, and I
Ooh,
have that on ELR. And my favorite pod, the Dot Pod
ooh.
Max, the carbon fiber edition, of course. And that thing there, I'm over a month on one coil head. That's pretty good. In that one, I've got a mix of a tobacco and caramel. So it's not bad. It's a little strong on the tobacco flavor, but it's pretty
Yeah,
good. Then I got out the big boy today.
the big
The
boy.
Rebel Triple 21700 battery mod with the Steam Crave Aromizer. I think that's the Plus version 2.
For some reason, I thought that was the Steam Crave Titan.
No, I actually bought the advanced kit, and that thing has got so many options to it, and I got a couple different decks on it. Yeah, that's the Aromizer Plus V2, and that thing really, really rocks. And
Yeah,
on top, I've got the District 5 drip tip on it. It was made by District 5, and it's got a nice gunmetal color that actually coincides pretty good with this one. This mod here, man, this thing's a beast. And and I've got my own custom theme on there. I don't know if you can see the theme here without being.
oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. That's a better look at it.
Oof, it
And
like
that
fifty
one you can
something
pick
watts.
up. That one you can pick up on the Evolve forum site. I've got about 100 different themes out there, and different color schemes, backgrounds, and whatnots. But in this one here, I'm vaping the last of my juice that I made up last week, which has got licorice in it,
Oof.
raspberry, and strawberry. But it's
Okay,
really, really pleasant. You're not getting blasted with that licorice.
okay,
And
the raspberry and the strawberry I can do. The
yeah,
licorice, not so much.
right. And out on ELR, I call it the Bad Bunny Juice line. It's a midnight raid. So if you're
Oh, okay.
interested, you can get the whole thing out on thing. So, Mr. Dillon, what are you vaping on, sir?
Well, of course, I'm gonna have to start with my daily driver, the Billet Box,
Yep,
Wicked Alpha, Wicked Alpha, with some of the juice that you actually sent me, the peanut butter banana coconut, in that.
that's good stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, and then I actually pulled this out because I was supposed to review it. Um, Harpy Slim, which I did a review on that. But I am vaping on inside that. That's the Ether V1 in the Aussie blue color. That has Mr. Stevie Marquez's vanilla cheesecake in that,
Ooh, ooh,
and that's
nice.
actually pretty good.
Yeah,
And that's at a 6 milligram too.
that's good. Yeah, I've been strictly doing 3 milligram until I get to the cardiologist and he gives me the final okay, I'm all right. And I figure
Yeah,
I
I
take a
don't.
little bit of a break from the sixes and nines and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I would be able to pull up Mark fucking vaping on zero for like a whole week.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't
I
do it.
wouldn't be able to. I would lose my mind.
But here's that orange panel I did for the billet box. It's got a
Okay, yeah, the
little
orange and the black that looks good.
yeah, juice window thing on there, and you can see your wattage and everything. I got to put the magnets in it yet,
You
but
know, with the juice window on that door, it kind of reminds me of like the Dotma Cthulhu type of
yeah,
juice window.
it's a little quick view. Now
Yeah,
here's my billet box. It's called the Laced Smoke Show, and that's a 24 edition. And you can see that's
yes,
2024.
mine's 2024 as well.
I wish they would have made it easier, just like to not worry about the authentic sticker being there, because once you're out of warranty, you can do whatever you want with it.
Right,
But they could have made it easier to replace the button with a different button set all the time. Say if you wanted something different, because I like those fisheye Ultim buttons
oh
they
yeah,
got. And I was kind of counting on getting the SLR billet box with that, but unfortunately, they've been taking an extended break,
right.
and there's
But
not a whole
but
lot you can do about it.
here's the thing with that. You know, when they made the post back in March, I believe on the I want to say the 24th,
Yeah,
they claim that they're taking a break. You already know how that is from what we were talking about. I showed you the
right,
post and
right.
everything. They claim that they're taking a break. Now, there's a lot of people that claim and think that they're closing down for good.
I think what they're trying to do is, since Utah, where they're based, they had a lot of new regulations in on vape equipment manufacturing. So they may be moving facilities, or like I was thinking, maybe gearing up to do a Delrin version after they move, and that would be kind of cool.
Right.
You got to
It
figure
would
they can do one in Delrin, or they can do one in wood actually, for that matter, and
right.
that
Don't get
would
me
be
wrong.
kind of nice.
It would be nice, but
Yeah.
you already know how they are. They want to stick with the billet aluminum and things like that. But at
Well,
least
all things considered, if they were going to do the Delrin one, they really wouldn't have to tool up anything different, because Delrin is a lot softer to work with on a CNC machine than metal.
right,
Because you got to remember, these billet boxes are billet aluminum,
right.
and they're cutting that out, and those tips only going to last for so long on those machines. So
Oh, for sure.
they probably wear those tips out pretty fast. They probably got to change them like every 3 boxes.
Right, but here's another thing with that. You know, not only what they should do is they should not only provide the chimney for like the coils and things like that, but
Yeah,
also just provide a chimney because you right know new vapors they may not have
right.
a 510 drip tip and things like that. Just provide that with the billet box, you know. And that's like I said, that's the only thing that I would do and I
Yeah.
would change. That's just me. I don't know who who else would think something else, you know. That's just what people should be doing or they should be doing at least.
Well, you have to remember too, they've run the gamut with the different designs and shapes of mods.
Right.
And after a while, they just kind of say, well, we really can't do much more. Well, it's like Rebel, look at this. The way they did
Right.
it, it's kind of neat. But if you look at the bottom end, that's triple 21700 batteries in there.
Right.
And that's a DNA 250. And this back panel pops right off. And that's done in PA12, and you can see that I've got monocells riding in there,
Right.
and there's 3 of them there, and that's a hefty mod. So I can't fathom right now how some of the people heft around the hammer of God with four 21-700s in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's even heavier. But being 3D printed, I can handle it quite easily. I got big paws, so I have no problem with that. But
Oh
if it
yeah.
wasn't 3D printed and you add metal on top of that, like the Hammer of God, the XL, that's a pretty hefty mod.
Oh yeah.
And well, 3D printing by itself was always expensive.
Oh,
You
for
know,
sure.
you're going to pay for the material. Now, this material they printed with is PA12. I can print the same material on my printer, but it's just designing things is the hard part because I'm not a CAD expert. I've been playing with it for a couple of years now, and I'm learning a lot more. As you can see, I did my panels and stuff, but
Right.
yeah, it takes time to sit there and pull up a panel design and get it just right. That could take hours in a couple different print things to try to get it just right. Like on
Oh,
the button one on this one, I raised it up so that way when your thumb slides in, it'll go into like a divot a little bit. That way
yeah.
you know where you're hitting. So I think I did a pretty good job. Of course, I'm using that new Creality K1C, the one that does carbon fiber printing. And that thing's a beast, man. That 600 millimeters per second speed, that's scary fast. So if you're going to get a good printer, it's well worth the extra money. I know there's a couple other models out there that are not quite as up to par with it, but you can pick those
Right.
up for 300 if you just want to do small things, and they'll work too. But
Oh, looks like Mr. Job Vapes is now trying to come on,
there you
but
go.
but he is saying Discord and YouTube do not sit there and hit my shit. But he is saying Discord is shit.
Yeah,
So
Discord's got its own problems.
yeah, I told him I'll send him the link through Facebook.
Yeah, yeah, because
I'm gonna have to tell him.
he's got to run into his own show pretty soon too.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I still have my trusty Crown X pod system.
Ooh.
Yeah. This is a pretty decent pod, though. If anybody really wants a decent deal, I think I picked it up for under $20.
Yeah, I had gotten a bunch of disposables in a calendar and the sample version of the Caliburn G, the original Caliburn G.
Yeah,
When it came out back in like 2020, 2021. Mark had sent me that. It still says sample not for sale on the side of the device. But I
yeah,
gotta pick up more pods for it.
yeah. Well, the biggest problem with and what I see today, and anybody starting out in the vape realm, you have your pod that's sealed and you
Yep.
can't remove the coil. And I like to stick to ones like this where I can put my own coil in it.
Yep.
And you've got pick and choose from, so you're not wasting a lot of plastic. And you could buy two of these empty ones for like $5.
Oh,
That's
look
well
who
worth
it
it.
is.
Well worth it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm the same way. I like my pods that are completely empty, where I can stick in the whole coil itself. That way, I'm not wasting pods constantly.
Yeah.
But then
Well,
again,
no,
at the same time, Brian, you also have to take into consideration those pods that we have to stick the coils in.
yeah.
Those also go bad after a certain
Oh yeah, yeah.
while. We got Mr. Jav Vapes in the building. He has to turn his camera and microphone on.
There you go.
While I'm gonna just sip on my Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, give me a second.
Ooh, there he
There we
goes.
go. Hey Jeff, how we doing? He's there.
Been a while trying
Oh.
to get me to have you on the show.
No, thank you very much for having me. How's it going, Brian? Nice to see you,
It's going
Bud.
pretty good, Jeff. How about yourself?
Not too bad. I've just been very, very busy. I'm sorry. Every time you've wanted me on the show,
Yeah.
do you know, I've got a full-time job. I do the reviews. I
Oh,
go on
yeah.
live on a Friday. It's just
I'm the same way with the reviews. I'm slacking. I'm supposed to do Bogan's remember when Bogan came out with the Ether V1 for like all Boro mods?
yes,
I'm slacking
yes.
on doing the review for that.
Oh, well, you should get it out. Do you know what? That's the beauty about vaping, though. It doesn't matter how long it is to review a product and record it.
Oh yeah.
It could be 5 years from now. It could be it could it's good to kind of go back older, like looking at
Oh, yeah,
older
yeah.
devices, and
Oh.
that's what I'm kind of doing myself, like on the Purge MX. Taking a look back at those, which is really good. It's nice to put new coils inside an older RTA or
Oh,
RDA.
yeah.
Yes.
I've done that several times. And it really is kind of fun, too, because then you start looking at the newer stuff compared to the old stuff.
Yeah.
What did they really improve? Did the airflow improve? The method of putting the coil in improve? And sometimes you'll find that the older stuff is just as good, if not better, than the newer stuff.
Yeah, this is true. Absolutely, I agree with you on that one. And I think it's just the fact that you're putting new coils in a really good,
Oh, yeah.
well constructed, well designed, and thought out RDA or RTA, and that's what I
Right.
like. So I like to test those out. But yeah. So how long have you been doing your reviews, Squad? Like how long have you been doing your lives? And same as yourself, Brian, as well.
I've been doing regular vlogs on my channel for years. Now we know how Jay Hayes is.
Yes.
So I went to him because I know Mark Fagan never picks up his phone for a single phone call or anything like that. So I had reached out to Jay or whatever, he told me, just start out small, like on like pod systems, things like that. So I had actually started out reviewing the Blaze AIO, like the original,
Oh, wow.
like the original Mike Vapes Blaze AIO with the Blaze Bridge.
That's wicked. That's wicked.
I had picked up 3 of them. Oh, as my camera just froze.
Oh, you're all good. You're all
I
good.
picked up like
There you go.
3 of them. I picked up the Tiffany Blue, the Red, and the Black. Reviewed
Nice.
it.
Nice.
Everything seemed fine. My second one I did the review for was the .AIO V2 in the light variation.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Then after that, I was trying to figure out, because I have a whole shelf full of vape products and things like that. I was trying to figure out like what to do next and things like that on what to review. Then a good buddy of mine sent me this Harpy Slim.
Oh, that's gorgeous. I've seen you before with that.
Yeah, you
Gorgeous.
saw me on
Gorgeous.
Vic Show with that.
Always jealous.
I reviewed that. Now I had the Tita X running in that.
And what do you think of that? What do you think about the X?
The the original Tita X RBA, that one, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Probably easy to wick and everything. I didn't pick up the Tita X version 2. Then after that, a good buddy of mine, Cheryl Demers, who's in chat, knows him. He was selling a bunch of stuff. The Vidar and the Stabwood variation with the titanium battery sleeve, with
Nice.
Alpha and things like that. I did the review on the Vidar, which I know you saw that.
Yeah. Yep.
And I did the review on the Wicked Alpha. The Wicked Alpha is easy as piss. The
Alpha.
Yeah.
That's one that I really, really want to get. Quite difficult to get, actually, in the UK anyway. I'm struggling to get that, but yeah, I've heard amazing things about it. Absolute amazing things.
Yeah, I love it. Easy to whip. I know RJ personally and everything. He did the updated pins on it. I have the highest airflow pin, which is I think a 4.5 millimeter airflow pin in that.
That's sick.
Now I know you're familiar with billet box and stuff like that, Josh.
Yes, yeah, I like my billet boxes, absolutely.
No airflow on the doors, just on the sides.
Just on the side.
So, for the 4.5 millimeter airflow pin on a billet box, it hits different.
I can imagine. What's the flavor like with the 4.5?
Flavor's phenomenal. And as Brian and I did the buffets, which we're gonna get to yours in a second.
No
Now
problem.
Brian had sent me a juice, which is a peanut butter banana coconut flavor.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
It hits perfectly with that.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Now
I'm
I'm a
really
moderator for Stevie Marquez out here in the States. He makes
Stevie's
phenomenal.
collection.
Yeah, I'm a moderator for his chat. I just tried like six brand new flavors that he just dropped in his
Oh,
thing.
stop talking. I'm jealous because we do not get that in the UK. And I've been watching a lot of Grim Green, and that's actually where initially I got found the e-liquid, and I did price it with Stevie's team, and yeah, it's just really expensive to get it here in the UK.
Yeah,
The shipping, the
Oh
tax,
yeah.
because of international shipping.
it's horrible.
Yeah.
It really, really is. But yeah, the flavors I've heard the flavors are phenomenal, and the
Yeah.
list just goes on and on and
Oh
on.
yeah. Now I will tell you because I've been vaping on this one flavor for the past since February actually. This is my birthday, and I was talking to Brian about this. Mr. Dread. I don't know if you've seen
Mr.
this one.
Dread.
I
I
don't know
did
if
see
you've
this. Yes, I did.
It's a vanilla cheesecake. I had that sitting at a 6 milligram.
Ooh,
It hits
ooh.
perfectly.
I
Oh
can
Lord.
imagine. I can imagine. It's yeah. I think the best flavors are Stevie's dessert flavors. He comes up with some amazing, amazing recipes. I know that for
Oh,
a
yeah.
fact. One day I will get it. One day. One day. Well, I'm hoping one day he'll hit me up and say, "Jav, I'm going to send you some because you're that much of a good reviewer."
There you go.
So if you're watching Stevie, please don't forget about Jaff Vapes.
Yep.
If I know Stevie like I always do, he's always listening in while he's working.
Well, actually, there's a couple of reviewers that I chat to, and we have discussed about Stevie's e-liquids, and I think we're gonna order some and just pay for the shipping, split it between us, and just get a big batch of different flavors. But the problem is, once I taste it, I know I'm going to love it, and it's just
Oh
going to be
yeah.
a very expensive journey.
I believe all his juices he does in a 70-30
Perfect.
ratio.
Perfect. Just what I want. I like my 70-30 ratio. That is the best. I use a lot of RDAs as well, and it works fine in a bottle. It works absolutely perfectly.
Yep.
So
Oh yeah, it works
can't go
perfectly
wrong
in
with that.
Boro.
Absolutely.
So Jeff,
I don't.
what are you vaping on today, Jeff?
I'll show you. I'll be honest. I've not got much this week, but this week I've been on this non-stop. This is the
Ooh,
Hog.
New Hammer God.
Oh yeah, I like
Yeah, the
that.
Hog
I like
200,
that.
and this is the Jill 18650. And I've got the Asgard V2 on top of that. Nice pink drip tip, a nice matchy going on.
Yep.
Then I've got the Riser 80.
Ooh.
Really nice. I love
That's a
this
sweet
one.
looking unit.
Oh, it's brilliant. The only downfall about that, well, I'll tell you one thing. This is really good because it can take a 21700 and an 18650. So when you run it 21700, you just take this barrel out here, take that out. But the problem is, I put it back in, and it's given me a lot of scratches along the tubing. So yeah, I just need to try and brush this out and see how we get on. Then we've got the Nitsu RBA in there. Oh, sorry, I didn't even show you what I've got e-liquid wise. So on the Hog 200, I have Kayuki, which is a Swedish e-liquid, strawberry donut. I highly recommend this if you can get it. It is premium e-liquid. There's no sweeteners. It's just amazing. Absolute phenomenal flavour from this. And that strawberry donut, very subtle on the donut, so it's not really overpowering or sickly.
Right.
Then in the Nitsu, we've got this cherry Kayuki, the cherry peach lemon.
No, that
There you
sounds
go.
good.
Oh yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Cherry, peach, and lemon. Delicious stuff. I've kind of got the summer vibes going on with my e-liquids, just to change it up. Then we've got the Parsons. So we've got
My
Parsons
father
with
has that.
really, really good side by side with the Dwarf on top of there by KWH Mods. Really good RTA on top of this. Beautiful RTA. And I've got Inferno, pineapple and mango. It's a UK-based e-liquid. I know the guy personally. Really, really good guy, and beautiful flavors he does. This pineapple and mango just rips through this RTA like no tomorrow. Delicious stuff. Then we've got the good old Topside. Can't go wrong with the Topside.
Ooh.
And
Wait,
then
is that Topside the version 4?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Ooh.
and it's a beast. It's honestly phenomenal. Then we've got the Asgard V2 Mini on top of there. I get a lot of Vapors Cloud products because they sponsor my channel, so I get a lot of their products, which is good for review. So, what have we got? I've got the Midnight in there by the Rochford Project, another UK-based e-liquid, and this is a cappuccino flavor e-liquid with vanilla.
Oh,
Beautiful
yeah,
stuff.
that would be good.
I've been looking for a good coffee juice.
This is on another level. Well, maybe you could sort me out with Stevie's collection, and I can sort you out with some good UK liquids. But let's do something. We'll come up with something. Don't worry, we'll sort something.
There.
And then I've got this Purge mech. Don't judge me, but I like the stock RTA, and I like this on top of it. I don't know, I just love this one on top of it. But I like this setup. Sorry, it's a bit blurry, but that's the setup. I did have gunmetal RDA on there, but then I ended up putting this on top because I just wanted to use this mech, and I love it, absolutely love it. And in there, I've got the watermelon, kiwi, and pomegranate by Kayuki. I'm going through literally a moment with Kayuki. I absolutely love their e-liquids. Then I've got the Asgard V2 Mini on top of my custom made from Infinite Mods, Oscar from Infinite Mods. This is the Lord of the Rings edition. This is Sauron at the front there.
Oh, that's a nice mod.
And then I've got sword there, and then this also glows in the dark, which is pretty cool. But there's the Lord of the Rings engraving on the bottom there, which is pretty
That's
smart.
real nice.
Ooh.
That is really,
really nice. Beautiful. And in there, I've got this one, which is Notice Eurus. I can't pronounce this. It's in Greek, but it's from the Rochford Project, and this is more of a. It's like, have you ever had a humbug sweet, a candy humbug? It's like a mint, and in the centre it's got caramel.
Oh yeah.
Really nice. That's what's in here. How you doing, Sean Lynch? Nice to see you, buddy. And then I've got this that I'm testing before the review. This is the Cross 5 by Vaporesso. So this is their new pod kit. So testing this out, and we'll see how we get on. Last week in my live show, I built the stock RDA, and this is on top of the NATO, which is by Vapors Cloud, their mechanical mod.
I didn't even know Vapors Cloud did that.
Yeah, they did. They did back in the day. Really, really good. And that's literally it. What I've been vaping on. Let me see. My camera's back on. Yeah,
I knew Vapors Cloud did the Pixel, which obviously, as you're aware, they changed the name to whatever
XR80. Yeah, they had to because there was a.
Yeah, and then they did the Hammer of God, a couple of RDAs, and things like that. But I never took them to do mech mods and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm sure they've had a few. I know that's one of them, but I'm sure they've got another couple as well that they did back in the day. But I have seen an increase, especially in the UK, an increase in terms of like RDAs, RTAs. That's starting to become a bigger thing again, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
And then we've obviously got the ban in June, on the 1st of June for all the disposables, which is good. But yeah, this is new kits. Vaporesso's got a new kit. They've sent along for review.
Nice.
This is their new stock coil one. And then we've got the Argus G3, which I will review. I'm going to open it up in the live show and test it out. But I got the G4 as well.
I know you asked me how long I've been doing this stuff. I'm basically the sidekick. If somebody wants me on the show, I get on the show. But I've been vaping for 12 years.
Wow.
I've got 12 years vaping. I'm into 3D printing. So this is my billet box. It's the Lay Smoke Show. I just made some custom panels for it.
Oh, nice. You made the custom panels with your 3D printer.
Mm-hmm.
That is wicked.
So I just have to get the magnets in it. I'm a big fan of 3D printing. As you can see, this is a Rebel vape.
That's awesome.
Triple 21700. And it's not cheap, that's for sure. But I've got about 15 to 20 different mods that are 3D printed.
Wow. If you ever want to send them to me, feel free. I'll give you my address.
There you go. Yeah, Rebel's
I got my one.
Rebel's right out of the UK, so paying the shipping, I didn't mind, But I designed on the Pulse AIO V2. I did my own
Very good.
panels on that one. It looked a lot better
Fantastic.
than those clear panels, so I
Yeah,
figured
no, it
I'm
looks
happy
good.
with that.
Yeah,
And
I know. I did the. I did the. I think I did the review on the Alexa 6 RBA.
Oh, I love that. I love the Alexa 6. It's a
yeah,
very
Jeff, I'm actually designing 4 different mods myself.
that's
Um,
wicked.
yeah, and when I finally get them done, I will put them out, and people can, if you want one, I can make
I
one
would
for you.
I'd
There you
be
go.
honoured. I'd be honoured, Brian. Thank you. I would do a review for you. We can
Yeah,
get them out there, and then I can,
there you go.
yeah, we can get your custom logo on the show and everything, and get you onto my show, and we can talk about it. That sounds
There
good.
you go. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I know.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. It's very kind of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Here's the kick with the company Alexa. They had to send me a whole new RBA because you know how the 6 RBA comes with like the normal Boro tank and the dot tank.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
I was having issues opening the sliding glass on the Boro tank.
So that was a lot. That was a massive big issue, and with one of their batches. Obviously, I do a lot of work with eSig1, which is a UK distributor, a big
Yep.
UK distributor, and they did say there was a batch that was a big fault with their batch. I think it was their second batch or something, or the first batch of the new colors. I think it was, but there was issues. Yeah, and I did face a little issue with one of mine with leakage.
Right.
Which was just where you put obviously the connector point at the bottom of the base of the tank. There was leakage coming through, but I managed to get that resolved and changed over. But once it's working, it's a fantastic RBA.
Yeah, it works fine in like dot format. It's just the whole condensation issue that I have. Then also the leakage just starts going on. No.
It does have a lot of condensation, but what I do is I just fan it out and put it against the side of the chamber, and usually that resolves the issue for me anyway, personally.
Yeah.
So it does the job. I feel rude because I'm going to have to go off in about 10 minutes to get set up for my live show because mine's and yours clashes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which I feel terrible. Maybe you can start
We
next.
do appreciate you coming on, Jeff, and it's been great to have you on.
I really appreciate you letting me join. I just feel terrible to just come in and then leave. If you can maybe start the show maybe half an hour earlier next week.
Yeah,
I'll come along next week or an hour earlier.
There you go. That'll work.
You're a legend. You're a legend. Absolute legend. And I can.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. Just spending a few minutes with us.
Bless you.
And that's the best part about the whole community too, worldwide on a global scale. We all take care of each other.
Yeah.
And we all support each other because we're in a limited community to begin with. And if we don't look out for each other, then who's going to look out for us?
100%. And the US and the UK were allies, so it's great.
Oh yeah. That's one thing I was talking to Bick about on his Easter episode. It was me, Brian, and Nick on the show. Me and Brian said the exact same thing. We're all allies.
Absolutely, 100%.
For all this stuff that's going on, like the bans and things like that, all because kids want to get their hands on these disposables.
That is the issue.
And it's the main issue. And on top of that, you're right now with these kids, going to the hospital because of vitamin E acetate and things like that. But these kids are getting all their stuff from the weed stuff.
This is true. That's exactly it. They're getting it from that's what I was thinking as well. They're getting it from all the cannabis, the products that contain cannabis, all these oils and everything. But there's also a lot of really strange disposables going around. You just don't know what's actually in them. That's the thing. When you're not using big brands and big companies that are well known, you just don't know where they're getting made and how they're getting made as well. With the ban coming into place in the UK, it's going to be a really good thing in terms of for the children. Like they shouldn't be able to buy them, but at the same time, it is risky because the black market's there, and that might cause a bit of an issue. That might rise, in terms of sales within the black market. So you just don't know. We'll wait and see. That's all we can do is wait and see.
Well, we do live in a strange world. And you basically have to have your head on a swivel. My
This
dad
is true.
taught my dad taught me that a long time ago because he was a police officer and
Oh
he was
wow.
upholding the law. And you have to really, really watch out there. And there's more bad out there than what we think of.
Yep.
There
We
is.
see
There
a
is
lot of the stuff
definitely.
on TV and in the courtroom dramas, but it's just every day there's people out there causing harm to somebody else, and
This is
it's
very true.
totally unnecessary.
The rate of a lot of crime, especially like kidnap, is rising quite badly right now, especially in the UK.
Right?
I'm a police officer as well, so that's what I
Yeah.
do. But the worrying side of things are like kidnap. I know we're coming off the topic of vaping and stuff, but in terms of crime and the things that are increasing as the years go on, it just keeps increasing.
Yeah.
There's never just a steady line or a decrease. It's always
No,
increasing, and it's worrying, very scary, very very scary.
I
yeah,
think it grows proportionate to the population growth. So the more the population growth, then we've got more crime. And it's
100%.
unfortunately, but some people do think they're going to get away with it, and they usually 9 times out of 10 get caught.
Yes, yes,
oh yeah,
absolutely. Well, the way things are these days in terms of technology and what the police are capable of
Oh
doing,
yeah, yeah,
oh,
and yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
I know. I know. My father and I go to this one vape store out here in New York. They told us like, listen, like, cops just raided the store. Don't know what they were looking for, but they just raided the entire store
Wow,
and everything.
wow,
And they said that's why a vast majority of the vape stores out here shut down
wow.
because of
Just
all
because
that.
they were getting
Yeah.
raided. Wow.
For
right,
whatever,
right.
whether it's weed, cigarettes, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of the weed stores that actually got the permits, stuff like that, they were closed down. And officers were out here in New York were sitting there saying that these stores were sitting there selling supposedly illegally or whatever.
Oh, something
And
illegal. There would have been
yeah,
something illegal there, going on, drugs
yeah,
or
Yeah.
some sort of thing that just wasn't, permissible in the US. So yeah, there would have been something going wrong there because I doubt the police are going to just raid it for no reason. There
yeah,
would have been a
No,
100%
no.
an investigation and stuff.
yeah.
But guys, I'm going to have to love yous and leave yous,
All
and
right, Jeff.
join in next week. If you could start maybe a little earlier, that would be awesome because then I can
We'll
actually
do.
get
That
get a
works.
good
That
conversation
works.
with you guys. So
Yes,
Good.
we'll do.
I'll definitely be on next week then, next Friday.
Yes,
Appreciate you
sir.
coming on, Jeff.
Thanks
Appreciate
a
you
lot.
coming on.
Thank you.
Have a
Thanks a
great
lot.
day.
Take care. All the
All right.
best. Have a good one.
Later. You
See you
too.
You
guys
too.
in the chat. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Oh, and he is an amazing guy.
Oh, he's a great guy. He's the type of person you want to look up to as a youth because he is a police officer
Oh yeah.
and he's on the right track. He's anti-smoking. Um,
Oh yeah.
he's a good father figure. To be honest with you,
Oh
he
yeah.
really is. And he's somebody that the younger generation can actually look up to and learn from. And I wish there was more people like him in the world.
Oh yeah. And on top of that, he's just like us. Since we do the show every Friday,
Yeah.
he's a good role model for
Yep.
new vapors in the community. My father's been
Yeah.
doing. I've been doing this for like 4 years now, going on 5.
Right.
On top of that, I was on and off in the beginning, like after I quit smoking. And my father's been doing this for a year, and so Joff, Mark Fagan, you know, ST Vapes, Mike Vapes,
Right.
they're all good like father figures for somebody like my father who's still brand new to vaping and things like that. Even some of the kids who want to, quit smoking cigarettes, and this is not me, you know, saying it's okay for minors to, vape, but at the same time, those same minors are still smoking cigarettes.
Yeah. Yeah.
To prolong their life. Yeah, then okay, I would say it's okay to for them to vape. So
Right.
so there will be a good father figure, including myself, for these kids to pick up a vape like a pod system, like what you and I were talking about before the show, or a Boro device, or any other mod, like an RTA, RDA, and a
Yeah,
mod. And just go off there, but just take things slow.
yeah.
It's just mind-boggling that these kids nowadays, like what I mentioned, Josh. These kids want to be stupid and start slapping on like atomizers with like vitamin E acetate and shit like that.
Well, they
It's
don't know the actual outcome of what's going to happen to them.
right,
That's the problem. They're not educated enough in the use of the equipment to understand how to use it properly. And they just say, "Well, I want to get this, I want to get that, I want to get that." And I see a lot of youths out on the street. They're vaping, and it's only because they want to do that. I'd rather have them do that than do the cigarettes.
right, and that's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah,
I'd rather see some of these people,
right,
who's younger than myself and Devin, vape rather than sitting there put a cigarette
right.
to their mouth and shit like that. Especially a cigar to the mouth as well.
Yeah,
Okay, smoking a cigar once in a while, okay, understandable. Because with a cigar, like what my father always tells me, you're not actually inhaling that. You're actually
yeah,
just bringing it into your mouth, holding it, and then releasing that, and that's just it. Whereas a vape device, whether it's a disposable, um, or a regulated mod, you're actually doing a mouth to lung or a direct lung for it. Okay, that's
right.
understandable. I prefer somebody do vaping over anything else.
Oh yeah. Well, here's a good case in point. It's like I got tired of buying juices, so I started buying flavors. And I said, well, I found a place that did the 50-50 mix for me. And I started getting in DIY, and I'm thinking, wow, what a cost savings. I'm
Right,
not paying all that shipping cost all the time and an extra $8, adult signature fee and stuff like that. And then, I ran into Neil Pitts here, who's in chat, and we were talking one day, and he's got a lot more than I do, and he's probably a lot better mixer than I am because he's
right,
probably got a heck of a lot more experience than I do. But I look at his recipes because I have them saved on my favorites thing on ELR, and he's got some fantastic stuff there. Same with Lady Liberty and an advocate for liberty, and they
right,
got Betty Vapes over in the UK, and we do the show, get involved with the shows and that, and Neil Pitts can tell you we can learn from each other, whether you're a first time beginning mixer or somebody that's been doing it for years.
right,
There's always something new you can learn and how to do things better and more efficiently. Like, we
right,
were talking about using AI for the mixes. I did a couple like that and they turned out really good. And I would like to actually have Neil Pitts come on if he wants to come on because he's in the same ball game as we are. We're vapors and he does a lot of
right,
mixing, a lot more than I do. And
right. And Brett Whitney is the same way. He does a lot of mixing
right,
too.
right. And those type of people can share their experience. And it's not so scary and it's not so hard after you learn how to do it. And when you start looking at how easy it is to really mix your own liquid, there's nothing unsafe about it. You just have to take the certain precautions, wear the gloves and whatever, but do it the right way.
Right,
And Neil Pitts will agree with me on this. Get yourself a small scale, get yourself a pair of gloves, and do your thing, whether you want to use syringe or just pour or drops or whatever, as long as
right,
you're measuring out the appropriate levels.
right. It's the same thing with when Devin. He just recently started out on his mixing.
Right.
You know, Happy Hippie told him to get the necessary things like the scale and whatever else that he needed
Yeah.
and things like that. And that's what happened. Devin started, got all the necessary things. But instead
Right.
of doing all the other stuff like the flavor with the nicotine or the VG with the nicotine, he just got the one shots. And So all he has to do is mix that with the VG and
There,
the PG,
Cheryl.
Hello.
and that's perfectly
Hope
fine.
it'll work this time.
Nah, you'd be good.
Yes. Cheryl, as you heard, we were just talking about mixing and things like that.
I've been
Well,
hearing you on YouTube.
well, Cheryl had an original idea, and I never thought about it before, but it's a great idea. If you are mixing, use your blender. I never thought about doing that, and that's a perfect way to do it. If you're
You can't get
using,
them more mixed up evenly than that.
yeah,
I mean,
right,
everything. There's no way of getting a hit or miss. It's completely, fully saturated with each other, all the different flavors and
right,
the meat and
right, right.
everything. There's
Right,
no.
but Brian, here's the thing. Me and Cheryl always laugh about what her concoctions look afterwards and things like that. Which I don't think YouTube would allow me to say what she's told me it looks like afterwards.
There's Nick.
But let's just I'm gonna say say it looks like a Navy seaman.
Yep. Six Pack Kid, how we doing today, sir?
What's
So
going
we got
on, you
Six Pack
sexy
Kid
son of a
came
gun?
in. We've got Nathan there.
We
Of
got
course, Cheryl
myself.
joined us. And we still have Neil Pitts there.
And we got Nathan too.
Yeah, Nathan's there. Nathan, if you want to join in, sir, you're more than
Yeah.
welcome. Yeah, the more the merrier, actually.
Yes.
But getting back to Cheryl's idea, I don't know how you thought of that, but that's perfect.
Well, no, but I know she has what, Cheryl, arthritis in your hands and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
No,
it's hard for me to shake the bottles. So,
Yeah.
and my sons aren't always there to do it for me. So I figured if I put it in a blender, I won't have to worry about annoying anybody. I won't have to worry about my hands.
Yep.
I just throw that stuff in there, turn on that blender for about a minute or so,
Yeah.
and it gets very frothy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, while she's doing that, she also has time to joke around with me and everything.
Oh, Cheryl,
Everyone's funny.
I've been using these blue cobalt blue glass bottles with a dropper, and I'll tell you what, when you start mixing, you're going like this, and it's a half an hour later, your arm's hurting. And
Yeah,
I'm thinking, why do that when you can use the blender, especially if you're using a big batch?
yeah, because I use these. I put my juice in them after in these.
Yeah. And especially, like I said, especially on a big batch of liquid, your arms will start wearing out. Even if you're changing hands every 10 minutes, it's like at the end of the day, it's like, oh, my shoulders hurt. It's like, maybe go out and buy a paint mixer and just stick it in there.
Oh,
But
Nick
when you
did
said
good.
you were using a blender, I said, that's a genius idea. It
Nick
really
just
is.
said, Brian, doing good. Got new cell service. Lowered my bill from $1,005 a year to $267 a year.
Nice. Good
Cheryl,
way
I
to
don't
go,
know.
Six Pack.
Carol, I don't know if Nick told you. He went to that Mint Mobile you were telling me and him about.
There you go. Motorcycle be paid off too. That's great, Nick. That's good to hear, man.
But I'm
You
still
gotta
paying $100 a month, so
Oh, hey, I've carried medical bills over for the last 10 years, so I'm still paying on them. I just by
I don't
agreement.
have any because I don't go to the doctor.
Well, I carried over my mom and dad's. I promised to pay the places because they took really good care of them. And
right.
I signed an agreement, and it's my responsibility. I got $7,000 to go, and I got it paid off. It's no big deal. Sticking with the game plan. That's all you can do.
That is true. I know Nick told me before because I asked him if he wanted to come on. I think he said he was going to the movies or he went to the movies.
Aha. Oh. But I was working on earlier. I'm designing like 4 different mods. I scrapped my original plans for the Squonk box because I want to redesign it with a little bit different shape. And it's going to take me another 6 months, and I'll be pretty much complete with 2 of them. I'm just changing my mind around and doing different designs in CAD. And I'll tell you what, CAD is not the easiest thing to learn. And I've only a year and a half using it. It's like I'm learning more as I go along, but it's still out of my league on some of the things. So I got to look up a lot of stuff. What do they mean by this? What do they mean by that? But it's kind of fun. It passes the time. So.
I know me and Cheryl have talked a couple of times about her getting one of these little mods.
Where did you find that particular one?
Nick had it. I think Cheryl. What? Nick sent me this as a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
Cheryl knew about what it was way before I did. She kept making fun of me. She's like, "I'm not saying what it is." Ha 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 ha.
Yep. They sell not his, because his I think was a special edition.
Yeah.
But they sell the Harpy Slim, but it's a clone.
Yeah.
Ah.
But
I
they do
still
sell
like that one that Cheryl found on, I think it was 2F Deal or 3F Vape,
three.
where you got the DNA 60C, the Juma. Oh my gosh, she's got it. She's got it. That is beautiful. That is
a
really
nice looking
fantastic.
mod.
Yeah.
That's the
Wow,
lock
That's a sexy
screen.
screen.
Whoop.
That is really, really sweet looking.
Oh, that's a sexy screen on it. But I do want to get that new Harpy Nick got, the Harpy Coffin.
Oh yeah, the coffin one. That looks cool.
Whoop.
Oh yeah, that is. I really do like that blue on that.
Yeah, that blue is really sweet looking.
Yes, and that's the one that my son who passed away, he really liked that blues.
Now, Cheryl, on that one, is that's the DNA 60C, right?
Yeah.
Now, on that one, do they have something that's like a cover over the lens that makes it look bigger than what it is? Is that how they did it, or?
Yeah, because you can really tell. I mean, you can't tell on camera, but the actual screen itself is very deep set. Maybe you can tell on the side there.
Oh,
See how
yeah,
it
I can
reflects?
see that. Yeah,
See how
I
it
see that.
reflects? Yeah, so it enlarges the screen. So I don't need my reading glasses unless I go into settings and there's a whole bunch of stuff. Then you're gonna need your reading glasses.
Right.
But
Yeah, I
just
see how they
like
did it.
that, you don't.
That's a very, very nice looking mod. And for the price, you can't beat that.
No, after shipping and handling and all that, I paid what was it, 161 something or 169 something. That's 160 something.
Oh, it's well worth it.
Yeah.
You're getting Blue Juma, and you got the DNA 60C, and you can't beat it.
Yeah, and it's just like the real one,
Yeah,
but they don't make the real ones anymore. You're gonna have to buy it used off of somebody else. Because I don't think Stratum has. I think Stratum has stopped making stuff, haven't they?
I think Stratum went out of business, didn't they? Or
Yeah,
they
because I think the
still
last
did?
month they did was a side by side where you could make it into an 18350, 18650.
Yeah, because
Or,
you don't really hear from them anymore, other than just Facebook group and
Yep.
their Instagram set up, and because they were pretty big at one time.
Yep.
Stratum OLC, and you can look them up on the internet. They had their whole website and about 50, 60 devices, and now it's like there's nothing there,
That's how Billet Box was, because if you guys remember, in the beginning, around I want to say 2013, 24. No,
Yeah.
I want to say 2011. I'm not 100% sure exactly when Billet Box came out,
Right.
but around that time, Billet Box started, as any normal company, started off slow, and then all of a sudden they just blew up. Everybody's buying a Billet Box, 2 Billet Box, 3 Billet Box, and it's to the point where everybody already has a Billet Box in that same specific colorway.
Right.
For example, I know in the color Cheryl has for hers, which was what, Cheryl, the all red Firefox?
Yeah, I got the last one before they, what was the next week? They
Yeah,
totally shut down. I got the last one. I was so happy. I'm
they
glad that he talked me into it because I wasn't going to do it.
now with that specific one, everyone was buying it. The same thing with the Jawbreakers, and everything else. Even Brian, even the two that you had, everyone was buying it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I didn't see anyone buying the Stitch variation of like the one I have.
Right.
You know, even the Wolverine one and the Spider-Man one that they came out with, bro. Those were sold out within a day.
Yeah.
Even the Deadpool one that they were sold out within a day. You know, the Deadpool and the Wolverine. Okay, I understand that was. I'm guessing in collaboration with the Deadpool versus Wolverine movie that had just came out right before they had closed down.
Right.
But that's just about it. Other than that, I'm still thinking, Brian, like what we discussed. I don't think they're closed down for good. I think it's like what we said.
Yeah.
They're taking a break.
Yeah, they're just reorganizing the company because of Utah laws against certain vape manufacturing and all that. I guess they have to move operations elsewhere
Right.
or just go to California and say, like others have done in the past, designed in California, made in China. That could be the whole situation. But here's the big boy I got, Cheryl.
The Rebel that you were looking at on the phone with me the one time.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I went to order it and it didn't go through. And that's when he talked me into getting the billet
No,
box.
it was the Jay Hayes one, the JL.
Oh.
There's a triple 21700 batteries. That thing's got a little bit of weight.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? For what I paid for it, it's pretty pricey unit. But it's nice looking, Just the way they did the whole thing and they put the spade on the back. That's kind of cool.
And now I see
I
why Jay swears
got a
by
lot
it.
of their mods, And Cheryl, that's my own custom designed theme on there.
Yeah, I have that on my,
Her boxer.
yeah.
You were able to find it? There you go.
It's the dragon with the woman.
There you go. See what I did on this theme here, I got the voltage and everything else all laid out in the main screen.
Yeah.
So I did a pretty decent job with it. And right now I'm currently at 55 watts on a 0.38 and it's still in 4.6 volts. And that's perfect on a single coil.
All
Not
my
bad.
stuff, I gotta vape that at like 36 to 42 watts. I can't vape anything higher than that.
Well, if I go up to 60 watts, it gets a little too hot because I like a nice warm vape, but not too scalding high, And being I'm running a frame staple in there, a single coil job at, I think it's 4mm ID in there.
Oh yeah.
I got a lot of cotton sitting in there, and it's sucking it up.
Man,
But I'll
like
tell
I
you
was
what,
telling,
I'm such a big fan of 3D printing, though. And the way they did this is just phenomenal.
yeah.
Now, the gentleman that I guess runs Rebel Vape out of the UK, he used to work for Ginger Industries.
Oh, that's
and
why
he
there's
broke
something
off.
so familiar.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I think
Right.
Jay Hayes was saying in one of
Right.
his videos about when he was talking about Ginger and his products and things
Right.
like that.
I think
But remember,
Dylan
Cheryl,
talked
when-
me out of using the orange panels on the Pulse AIO V2. He likes the black better.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
the black blends in so well with that color.
I'm kind of leaning towards the orange, though.
Yes, do the orange. Don't listen to Dylan.
Yeah.
Right, but
like
if it was a black mod, okay, then then I would say it'll be better. But that's just my preference.
I don't know. I kind of like that orange, and I got a set of white ones done too. The white ones look pretty slick on it because they
Yeah,
give you the white drip tip in it. But
I want to get a set of all black, not black, all blue, dark blue panels.
what do you think? I put the white drip tip on with the orange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can print out a orange button too that I can put in there too. I might do that.
Yeah, that would look good if you also printed out the orange button.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the body of that is like a what? A sage green?
It's a
They call it Celeste. It's
But
kind.
it's more like a sage green.
Yeah.
Sage goes with anything. Sage and orange is fine.
Right. And with a white
Dylan,
drip tip,
go
I
sit
think
down.
that look pretty cool. Either that or actually print out a orange drip tip.
She just went
I
the
can do
full
that.
mother mode. She's like, Dylan, shut up and go sit down.
I love that orange. And it's a happy color. You cannot help but smile when you see the color orange or
Exactly.
yellow.
Exactly. So that's what I think I'll do tonight is I'll print out a orange button for it and then go from there. I was telling Dylan earlier, I went to put in the panel for the adjustment screws and I dropped one screw. It hit the carpet. I don't know where it went. I know it got sucked up by the vacuum.
He's like,
So
oh, I heard
always
it.
I've
get
been
another
losing
screw.
and dropping screws for years. I just give up looking for them.
I've been doing the same thing, But it's kind of unique. And you would think, and I thought about it earlier, is why not make the thing where you don't even use screws? It's just magnets. Everywhere magnets, like Jay Hayes did with his one mod that he did. I can't remember, was the Inception or something like that?
He did. I think he did 3 mods with magnets. One was the squeeze, the deception, and the inception.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the Deception and Inception. And magnets work, if you could do a modular system on a mod with just magnets, that would be fantastic if you think about it.
The only thing is, the one that Nick gave me, the clear,
Yeah.
I like it because it has the open puzzle pieces, so it gives me some more airflow. But the panel that goes on the back, one of the magnets fell out, and I
Yeah.
can't find it for shit.
It's probably a 3mm by 2mm magnet. I order them off of eBay because they're cheap. I get a set of 100 for like $7. I can get them at Hobby Lobby, but they're a little on the pricey side if you're going to go for magnets. But it's just, something to do to pass the time, like what you do with the knitting and all that. And I just think it's kind of cool to do 3D printing and stuff and play around with magnets, and keeps me active and keeps my mind active. But it's kind of cool, and that's what I was saying earlier, Cheryl. You should start your own channel dedicated to what you do with your craft work, because I think it would go over really, really good.
My
yeah.
sister's been on me to do it too, especially
Yeah,
tutorials on how to end off a project and weaving all the ends, the stuff that nobody likes to do but have to do.
Yeah,
Right, and here's the thing with some of the projects that you're doing for the videos, you can do like a time lapse.
yeah.
And then what you can do is you could piece off every time lapse.
Yeah, because you got you use a video editor. Even if the project takes you 6 to 8 weeks or 6 months, you could do sections on that and then piece it together in a video editor and post it.
Exactly.
And every once in a while, you don't have to do a weekly show or anything, but maybe once a month get together with some of the other people who like to do that, and
Right.
just host a little sit-in and just discuss what
I've
you
noticed, I don't know why it's the women who do those channels, they
Yeah.
don't get together like we do.
Right.
They're just by themselves. They want all the focus and attention on them. They don't want it on somebody else.
Right. And see that's what I think your
And that's why
channel.
I don't like doing it with other women, because they're like, no, it has to be me and only me, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Right, and then on top of that, half these other women get nasty when it comes to their
yeah.
specific ways.
Well,
And they always try to outdo each other. Oh, my stuff is better than yours. And
yeah.
no,
You see, that's
I
what
don't
you
want
don't
none of
want.
the BS that goes along with,
Right.
no.
And see, that's where you would get a good following just by posting some videos out there, and you get people interested in what you're doing. And then every once in a while, when you do have a show, you could just host another person or two people and just start discussing different projects. You know, nobody's competing with each other. You're doing it as a craft, a hobby, and you're enjoying what you're doing.
Right, and it's the same thing, with all the other reviewers too. Like,
Right.
if you feel like it's a good idea. No, and I'm not trying to shit on any of the other reviewers or anything like that, but it's like, if you feel like it's a good idea, okay, yeah, let's get a live stream going. Let's say with yourself and like four to five other reviewers
Yeah.
on one stream.
Right.
Some of these other reviewers are gonna be like, "Oh, go fuck yourself. I'm not gonna do it unless you
Yeah.
pay me." You know, and it's like, why would I want to pay you to
Yeah.
collaborate on a live stream? You know, if it's for the viewers and the supporters who's been supporting you and myself, over the years. You know,
Right.
it makes no sense for me to pay you just to
Yeah.
do something for the loyal, supporters.
Right.
Makes no sense at all. Brian,
Well, it's
since
like
we
what we do. There's no competition between us.
right,
You know, I'm just the sidekick, and I enjoy just being on with you guys and talking with you, and you learn from each other. You know.
Yeah.
right, and it's like Brian, since I met you and Cheryl and Nick and everything, you guys have been supporting me in this YouTube
Yeah.
thing ever since I met you guys,
Right.
which I have to thank all three of you for that, and I'm getting teary eyed as I'm sitting here thanking you guys. But if it wasn't for you, Brian, wanting to do this Friday show with me and actually doing it with me, I still want to be here. I still want to have gone from like 43 subs straight to like 100 something where I'm at now.
Right.
If it wasn't for Cheryl constantly sharing the live streams or my daily videos that I upload when I upload them,
Right.
especially if it wasn't for Nick just sitting there, putting the word out, giving me stuff to review and actually have in my collection, I still wouldn't, be here to this
Yeah.
day, especially with Brett. 'Cause I know he's texting me right now.
Yeah.
Since he's not texting in chat. If it wasn't for him, if it wasn't for Devin having me on his show, if it wasn't for Chuck having me on his show for the past 3 years,
Yeah.
again, I still wouldn't be where I'm at, still gaining followers and things like that.
Yeah, you still be doing the short 15, 20, 30-minute shows.
Right.
Because
Right.
there's only so much you can talk about in a show by yourself. It's easier when you have somebody with you so you can bounce off of each other.
Right.
Right.
I like what Nick said. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, that's what I was laughing at earlier. I wasn't laughing at you, I was laughing at him.
Mr. Intense, he's here.
Yes,
Yeah.
howdy, Mr. Intense.
If anybody in chat wants to join in, please feel free
I
to do
posted a
so.
link in chat. If y'all want to come
Yeah.
on, come on. I know, like I was telling, Nick, I hope to see him this, the week of Angela's party and things like that, and I was talking to Mark about this too. I still have those 6 new flavors and stuff like that from Stevie and everything, so I tried them or whatever. I'm gonna bring those and things like that, so Mark and I can do a video on his channel and everything. Even though I did a review on the Wicked Alpha, I want Mark to try it and review it himself. I have this little thing with the ether in it that Nick sent me. I gotta do the review on that. I want Mark to also do the review on it for his channel and things like that.
Right.
Like Cheryl said, you need somebody, do that the bounce off thing when I'm talking to somebody, because it's easier that way. Because when I'm doing
Well,
a live by myself, barely
Well,
anybody's in chat.
right. And yeah, I'm starting to feel like ST Vapes. I got my little desktop knife here, the CRKT CO, carbon fiber handle. This thing's a nice little sharp knife. That's great for like utility purposes, opening letters and stuff. I had no problem with that. And it's like, I was thinking about this one. I'm going to do a complete redesign on that. I'm going to try to redesign. If I get the specs for a DNA 80C on the Boro mod, I can do that, And I got to figure out a clip-in battery cover like Rebel does.
Right. And, I want to get a.
Just into the 3D printing stuff. It's a good hobby. I've been doing it for like 4 years. But this is my third printer that I purchased, and probably going to be my last one. But I do a lot of stuff, You can do all kinds of neat things. And you can 3D print vases, toys for kids, and that. I stay away from all that stuff. I concentrate on vape stuff and what I can use,
Yeah.
I actually had to repair my vehicle on the inside. There was a part that was broken, and I 3D printed the part for it because I contacted the manufacturer of the piece, and they said, well, we'll just send you the STL file if you got a 3D printer. I said, yep, I got it. So I printed it out, and it worked great. It saved me like $80 instead of going up to a dealership, having them ship it into them, and me paying the premium for the handling of it.
Right, but here's the thing.
Didn't cost me anything.
Right, but here's the thing. You're paying like $80 for the part.
Yeah.
Plus the additional $100 some odd dollars that they're charging you for the labor. So you're paying close like $200, $300.
Yeah. And it took me 20 minutes to put it in. And I just 3D printed it, and it only took an hour to print.
Yeah, only reason why I know this is because I used to work at a dealership. And it's sad that I know that.
No, it's not sad that you know that.
No, it's sad what they charge at the dealership is what it is.
No, you would think that I would have forgotten all that. Because at the dealership, I used to work at Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, and Jeep.
Yeah.
And they charge $150 for labor, plus whatever amount for the part.
Yeah.
So if you needed like a new AC unit or AC part, they would have charged you like $90 to $100 just for that part, depending on what specific AC part it is.
Right.
Plus the $150 labor charge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they have a chart now where they used to just charge you according to how many hours they would put in. So if it was an hour and 15 minutes, that's what you got charged. Now everything's done on a level of how many hours it's going to take. So if it took them an hour and 15 minutes, you're going to pay for 2 hours labor. And that's just the way it is in this world. I like what Nick said. Printers aren't cheap. He's right on that one. I bought the Creality K1C carbon fiber type printer that'll do all the filaments. $560. Wow. But it's worth every penny. And if you look at the level of detail just on this, you can see how good it does. So you're not getting a cheap printer.
No, Brian, it's the same thing. It's like the same thing like we were talking about with computers. I don't know if I was talking to you about it or I was talking to Charlotte about it. But freaking, if you go to like let's say the Apple Store for a brand new computer, whether it's a laptop or a whole desktop, you're paying literally over $1,000 over or above just for a new laptop or a new desktop. And you're literally paying just for the company's name and not the product.
And the picture of the Apple.
Yep. Whereas if you get it someplace like Amazon or eBay, you're paying for the product itself and not
That
the
you
comfort you
are.
need.
That you
Yeah,
are.
because I only paid my son had only paid $289 for the Apple
Ma-
laptop that I
Yep.
have,
Yeah.
and he looked at the same one. How much was it? 600 something.
No, the
Yep.
one that I looked saw on Apple was like $900 something refurbished. When I looked
Yeah,
on
Wow.
Amazon,
mine refurbished was only $249.
Right.
but that no, when I looked, it was on Apple's website. When I looked on Amazon, the one I saw was the newer model.
Yeah.
It was like 308 and change, plus all the tax. It's bumping it up right to $423.
Well, still, that's not too bad, though. And thinking about it, I've got a pretty good credit line, but I want to wait till all my bills get paid off first before I buy another PC. But I might lean into Apple this next time.
Right.
I,
That's
I
what.
wouldn't mind doing the Air model. Get the Apple
Yep.
AirPad and just go that route.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at that.
That's right. It's the Air Mac, and it works beautifully.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mine was refurbished, and it looked like it was brand new. Looks like it was
Yeah.
new. I didn't have any problems with it. It didn't slow down. Nothing.
Well, it's like 2012. I went into an Apple store because I had an iPhone that I needed a new battery installed. I ended up buying a refurbished MacBook Pro, and I got it on the day that they had it sitting out. It was open box refurbished, and I asked the gentleman. I said, "Well, how much do you want for it?" And he gave me this ridiculous cheap price. I said, "Well, I'll take it." I bought the Apple Care with it and everything else, and 2 years down the line, I renewed the Apple Care for it, and they ended up putting a new hard drive in it for me, transfer everything over for me, and that thing lasted for 14 years.
It's not bad.
And I sold it because it got to the point where Apple would not support it anymore on the upgrades.
That's what mine is. They
Yeah.
won't on any of the updates. They won't support it anymore.
Right,
Since mine's a
right.
2016.
Yeah. Well, it's like my phone. I got a Google Pixel 8, and it's guaranteed for 5 years on the updates. But after that, you know how that's going to work out. I'm going to need a new battery anyways.
Right.
You figure a 5 year time span, your battery starts to die after a year. So you figure you're going to get 3 years max out of it. I'll probably end up getting a new battery out of it.
I know my Samson died on me after 5 years, 5 almost 6 years.
Right.
Broke my heart.
Well, they don't last forever, and that's the whole thing with it. And you just have to take into account that's a huge expense, especially when you're buying an iPhone.
I have to agree with Nick on this. That's why you get taxed the shit out of.
Yep. And nothing's cheap in the way of electronics anymore. And with the new tariffs and all that, everything's going up.
Yeah.
And that's why I figured I would snag my 3D printer now before all the major tariffs set in.
Oh, yeah.
So I was getting it at a pretty decent price.
But the thing is, when they put a hold on that before they implemented it, so that the stores can sell what they have in their stock.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. They hung on to it till the tariffs came through and sold it at the higher rate so they can get more money, even though they're not paying a tariff on it because it's already been paid.
Yeah.
They have it in their store already.
Well,
they just dropped it up and said, "Oh, it's because of tariffs." So no, you've had this. It's collecting dust. We can see the dust. You put your finger through it.
Yeah.
It's been sitting there for way before
Right.
Trump even got reelected. It was probably sitting there before Biden got into office, and you want to charge it at a higher rate with the tariff taxed onto it.
No, it's the same.
I don't agree with everything that Mr. Trump's been doing because he's just basically winging it. But he did have a good idea with the tariffs because now they clear out the older stock and you can get some pretty decent deals on things especially on Amazon, you got price drops going on. And then with Black Friday later this year, that's going to clear out all the old stock.
Right, but
But
it's the same thing.
the only problem with that, Dylan, not to interrupt you, but when do you get to the point of diminishing return?
Right.
You know,
Right, but here's the thing with that, right? It's the same thing with the Beats company, okay, that Dr. Dre made.
yeah,
Two of the products that I bought, which is the Beats the Beats Solo Pros that are on my head,
right,
and a Beats speaker.
yeah,
I bought the Beats these headphones like back in 2020, right?
yeah.
Like right before Father's Day. Next thing I know, a year later, they're gone. I bought the Beats
Mm-hmm.
Pill maybe around the same time,
Right.
and then a year later, gone.
Yep.
It's the same thing with some of the Apple the Apple phones too that are still there.
Yeah.
A vast majority of the phones that are there gone. They only kept like a select
Right.
few.
Well, it's like these JBL earbuds that I got. I got the race model, which is like 2 years old, but a third of what they cost from 2 years ago. So they're brand new. Why not? You can only improve on things so much. It's the same with Apple. How much does it actually cost Apple to produce a phone? Not a whole lot. Yeah, even Nick said, can you tell me what's cheap nowadays? Really, nothing's cheap. I mean, they got us over a barrel when you walk into the food store. It doesn't matter what grocery store you're using, they got you over a barrel. So you either pick generic food or you buy the more expensive foods that you know and love but can rely on and end up paying $2 more an item. Or do you balance it out and say, well, I could skip the bigger overpriced stuff and try the cheaper generic stuff. And then when you do, you're just like, it's not as good as. So it's a wash, really, when you think about it. It's all a mind game when you walk in the grocery store anyways. They got the highest priced things like bananas and everything else sitting in front of you. Meanwhile, the floral department is right there at the door. So that's where the big ticket items are.
No, yeah.
And then when you go to get milk, you can get milk where I live for like $2.59 a gallon. Of course, it's in the back of the store to the left, all the way in the corner, and you got to walk through all these high-priced items. So they're hoping you put the high-priced items in your cart. By the time you get to the milk, you're like beaten up mentally. It's like, what else did I forget? And then you start looking through your phone on your list. Oh yeah, let me go down this aisle. So you got one little item that's $3, but you end up stopping and spending $20 more because you see stuff that's on sale. And it's all marketing. It's like going to a gas station, Everybody thought Mr. Trump was going to lower the price of gas. That never happened. It never happened now, and it never happened with any president. So you can't blame him. It's the people who run the economy, and those people are big business. So you got big oil, it's got big money. You got big tobacco, they fight the vape people. Now they're getting into the vape game. So it's a wash, You just got to use most common sense judgment when you purchase things. And you might want to buy something a little bit more expensive because it's going to last longer. But at the same time, you don't want to get outdated with equipment that might go out of style or change in 6 months. So you never know when to buy. So it's a crapshoot. But see, like with Cheryl's hobbies, they're constant. She mixes, she vapes, and she does her craft work. So that'll never go out of style. That's always going to be in style. And it takes talent to be able to do that stuff. Not everybody can do that. So
My
you got to
dad taught me when I was 9.
Really?
He taught me the basic stitches, and then I taught myself the rest growing up.
That's good. That's good. That's like riding a motorcycle. My
Yep.
grandfather, he rode Harleys all his life. He tried to teach me to ride once, and I got so scared of doing it because I was able to ride mini bikes and stuff like that. I was a daredevil on my bicycle, but when it comes to those big Harleys, man, I got so scared. I just, it's not worth it. But Nick, he rides a bike, but it takes a special type of person that likes to do that all the time. I mean, I would love for nothing more than have a motorcycle, but I'd be so fearful of getting killed on the road by some wild driver that just doesn't know what he's doing. So it's just, there you go. $10 for an iPhone or less? I don't know about that. Well, it's true. The design never changes. iPhones are just basically iPhones. They're set in stone on how they're going to look, the thickness, the shape of the bezels, and everything else. At the point, they actually now they go to these foldable phones.
Oh, your microphone went low.
Mine?
Yeah, I thought it was my computer. No, it's you.
Huh, I'll be damned.
Now you're okay.
Now I'm good? All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when you start looking at an iPhone, how much can they actually improve on the iPhones? Not too much.
Yeah, they can. Marcus, stop.
Marcus called you out. Marcus,
Yep.
you shut the fuck up.
Put your phone down, Dylan.
My goddamn show.
I don't care.
He looks like a creature from One Step Beyond.
You know what he reminds me of? Remember that? Oh, I forget his name, but it's this guy who was like the red devil with the horns, and he always sanded him down like round like
Hellboy?
that on top of his head.
Hellboy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hellboy. That's what reminds me of the red hoodie and the horns.
I'll be darned. I like that Marcus said, Dylan, stop browsing Pornhub.
And you know he is because he's smiling.
I'm really not, though. I'm on Facebook, too. Which is Facebook. Thank you.
Pornhub.
Hell,
I have to agree with Nick there. He said it's about $10 per phone. And I got to agree with that. They got it down to an art form where they know how much it's going to cost them to produce a phone. And I think probably the biggest expense on an iPhone is the display. That's probably their biggest cost. And they probably have it down to like $6 a display. So the whole phone is probably no more than $20 to produce. And that's the shocker when you start seeing $1,400 or so. And that is back into the realm of pure greed. That's all it is. It's just pure greed. There's really no rhyme or reason for that, but that's how they do it. Looks like Dylan needs a shave.
I really do, too. As I just texted Mark to get his ass on here, and let's just hope and pray he fucking actually listens.
I won't come on.
He's not.
Yeah.
Mine's the fact he's gonna be in chat. It's like, is this a vape show? Just talking all immense amount of shit.
We're above his social grade.
Right? Ah, shit, my camera froze again.
Oh, man. That's too funny.
No, we're below Mark. He's too high class for us.
He's
too
bougie
for us.
Yeah, he's moved up in the world. He went from trailer park trash to Mr. I got it.
Well, he's earned it.
No, he went from Mr. Trailer Park Trash to I'ma just slap Vince on fucking every hole I see. Because literally, I can guarantee you when I go see him this summer,
I just,
that's all I'm gonna see is I'm gonna see fucking like 40 vents on the ceiling, 90 vents on the walls, a vent on the kitchen table. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
I thought about
Don't
that the
forget
other
the
day.
shower.
Yes,
Remember, I
that
was
too.
telling you about it on the hole through the wall. I hit a metal plate. Well, I got
Yep.
through that one, and then I hit another metal plate, so I gave up. And I'm thinking, what would Mark do? Get a vent.
Speaking of that, Brian, remember during his live stream, he showed the fucking wall that he fucked up from when he
Oh
fell down the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
stairs.
yeah,
How much do you want to bet he slapped a fucking vent right on that fucking
yeah.
wall, but it's not going to cover the entire wall?
Right. That's what I said. I'm living in the Faraday cage here. If nuclear explosion happened not a mile away, I'd still survive. Nothing gets into this place. I'm sitting there. Well, I got it made now. I got the metal pin on here. I go through the thing, and all of a sudden I hit boom. I said, "What now?" So I'm thinking I got the concrete bit on the masonry bit, and I start drilling. It's like, gee, and I can smell it. I'm going, there's something wrong there. So I'm peeking in there with my cell phone. And I took a couple of pictures, blew them up. There's another plate right behind the first plate that I went through. It's like I gave up. And I started thinking, what would Mark Fagan do? And I'm thinking, I can always go up to Menards and pick up a vent.
That's why I think Mark's more of a
do
Pollock
that.
than I. This is why I literally think Mark's more of a Pollock than I am,
Right.
and that's
Yeah.
saying something.
Hey, I gotta run and take my dog out. So he's standing at the door. I think he's really got to go. So I will be back in a few.
All right. Jesus, good fucking Christ! What am I getting myself into with shit like this?
Yeah, you're the one that started.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of shit that I don't start, but the minute I
No
start shit,
lies.
no, I'm being serious. There's a lot of shit that I
Mhm.
don't start, and I'm actually minding my business, and I
Ah,
get blamed for it. Like, what the fuck?
you always instigate it.
No. No. Like you know that like that situation. Hold on, you know like that little situation with Mr. You know who.
Yes,
That
that he is a king instigator.
No. You remember Mr. Asshole that we vowed not to mention his name.
Yeah,
He started a lot of shit, and I got blamed for it.
just let it go though.
But I don't know
You're
if you
grown.
no
Don't
I
listen to it.
no check this.
It
I don't
only
know
affects you if you let it affect you.
right, but I don't know if you heard this. So remember when I told you my father was in the hospital,
Yes.
and you asked me for what reason, and I told you, Mr. Asshole that we vowed not to say his name, swearing to everybody left or right that he gave my father a heart attack.
I've told you before, I've worked with patients who have strokes, and I've worked with patients who have had heart attacks.
Yep.
Your dad does not act like a heart attack patient. He acts like a stroke patient. Especially if he needs physical therapy to relearn how to walk certain ways and stand and
Yep.
everything else. He has to relearn all that. A lot of stroke patients have to relearn how to do things like that. And that's
Right.
normal for a stroke patient, not a heart attack patient. And it don't matter if it's a mild stroke or a severe stroke. There's going to be some kind of brain damage where
Right.
you need therapy to help work that out and relearn what was damaged.
As I'm dropping vape nods everywhere, but I completely and utterly agree with you on that. But then it led up to, the other night, which I'm completely ignoring, by the way. And that was it. And, after that Wednesday show, and we all signed up. My father said the exact same thing you said. I looked a little pale.
You did. You didn't look right. You looked like you were about to run a temperature or something. Because
Right, but
I told you I kept having the urge. I wanted to touch your forehead and see if you were high, if you had a temp. I could do it with my kids.
No, it's because it was cold in the house and shit like that, you know. And on top of that, you right now, I was getting like texted you privately. I was getting annoyed with a specific somebody. Thou shall not be mentioned. Who was in
Well,
Chuck's
just
chat and
certain
everything.
people call it teasing, but it's actually like a passive aggressive form of bullying.
Right,
It's mean. It's not meant out of fun.
right, and you know what? And I'm not saying this to be a jerk off or anything, but I know what like when you tease me at times. I know you're not bullying, and I know you mean no harm by all the jokes that you do. That's fine, but like I was telling you, when he does it, it it just irks the shit out of me. Especially when Nick jokes with me too. I know he's joking. I
Okay,
know
but why does it bother you?
because with that specific person that I'm not mentioning, he just keeps on going and eggs it on nonstop. For example, you know how when Mark normally does his gay jokes and things like that, you're not
Yeah.
annoying, Nick. Shut your mouth. Um. So when that's mine and Mark's thing. Him and I will jokingly talk gay stuff towards each other because that's just how we are as friends. You know, but the specific person just keeps going and going about the same thing over and over again.
Okay,
And
because he knows it bothers you. If you don't let it bother you, and you just
right,
ignore him every time he's not there and keep
right,
going on whatever you're conversing about with whomever,
right,
like he's not there, no matter how much he tries to interrupt, eventually he's going to get the hit and leave you alone. But as
right.
long
That's
as
what I'm
he knows he's going to get a reaction out of you, he's going to keep doing it.
right. That's why I'm not letting it bother
Don't
me
give
now.
him that. You've given him that power. When you
Right,
react to it, you're giving him that power, and that's why he's continuing to do it. And that's on you.
right. And that's why I'm doing like what you and my father said. Ignore it, drop it. Because that's all I can do. And that's why I just love talking to you, Nick, and so on. And even vaping on my little precious, my precious. Like my father says all the time, this is like my little baby bottle. I have to carry it everywhere and just keep sucking on it like it's nothing.
Your pacifier.
I don't want to go that far. Say it's a pacifier.
Yes, it is. You like sucking on it. It's a pacifier.
Hey, listen. I'm not your grandchild. Okay, I'm your adopted child. I'm your adopted son. Let's get it right.
It don't matter. You still like sucking on it. It's your pacifier.
Jesus Christ, Cheryl.
I'm going to make you a lanyard that wraps around. You can put it through your hoodie sleeves like they used to do in the old days for little kids with their mittens so they wouldn't lose them. They clip them on and
Yep,
you put it
onto the
through.
jacket. Yep.
That's what I'm going to do to you. This way you can't drop your favorite little precious or anything else. It's always there.
Well, no, that's why Nick gave me like 3 pouches, which I gave one to my father, cause he gave me the Nassau one and a Panda one, which I gotta which they're behind my computer. I think I used the Nassau one. I used for this little gift one that Nick gave, and then I used the Panda one for the bill box. As Nick says, just like I love to suck on nipples. Oh Jesus Christ!
I'm going to start calling Nick Mr. Nipples.
Nick, that's your new name every time you come into Zoom with me and Cheryl. Your new name is Mr. Nipples. What I would do for 2 black guys from nice big boobies.
Yeah, you better be a double D or higher, otherwise don't look at them.
next thing you know, you see Nick with a 65-year-old woman with saggy titties, and he gets 2 black eyes. And then we'll see him in Zoom like, what the fuck happened to you? Yeah, the 65-year-old broad just hit me in the face with her saggy flappers.
When they get to that point, they're saddlebags. They're not even boobies anymore. They're just saddlebags. You just pick them up and throw them in your bra and hope they land in the right place and they don't fall out when you bend over.
It's like when an old man gets to that age, his balls are just touching the floor and everything. He starts playing kickball with his own nuts. He's like, hey, Grandpa, you want to go play kickball? I already have. Oh, Jesus Christ. But Mark has vowed to me not to bring any fucking burros. He says he's going to throw them out. God, I don't like him for
The
that.
teddy bear lanyard. Yes, I could.
I'm applying for a professional boob handler. Nick, you are a boob fondler. Let's get it right.
He's applying for a professional boob handler. Okay.
As he says, saggy tits need love too.
Well, and it's not just 65-year-old women. It's anybody who's ever breastfed a child. They don't stay where they're supposed to afterwards.
Right. Okay.
Also,
okay.
you
Even if
gained a lot of weight and then lose weight, they ain't gonna stay where they belong.
No, it's even with those the women that don't breastfeed and everything else too. It comes out the same way. The only time, and I hate to say this because I know there's some women that hate it. The only way that won't happen is when they get breast implants. That's the only way they'll stay the same.
No. Mine are double D's. I don't want them any bigger. No.
Nathan, you shut your mouth.
Just the thought of them, because they cut underneath into your nipple and.
Yep.
No.
Right, but then again, there was one female professional wrestler that had that done years ago. She just got the breast implants removed, and she said on her social media page that was the best decision of her life.
I'm back. There we go. It's a good thing I got them out when I did.
Your implants?
He had to go. They just put some fertilizer down on the new grass seed.
Oh, Jesus. Speaking of going, Dylan will be right back. You two talk about
There you go. Bathroom break.
He should have gone before he came onto the show.
I still like the mod that you got. That was a good choice. That is a really nice looking mod.
But I'm still embarrassed that it's a clone.
Oh, even though if it's a clone, so what, you know? When you think about it, it's not 100%.
Kicking myself over it.
Well, no, hey, a mod's a mod, you know? If I were going to buy another billet box, I'd have to go get an SXK.
Yeah, because they don't make them anymore.
Right. And that's another issue, too. It's like, are you thinking about a clone? If the original company is not producing it anymore, can you really call it a clone? I don't think so.
Yeah. I still think it is.
That's kind of subjective, but even so, for the price, you cannot beat that. You got Juma Wood, you've got DNA 60C, and for the price, that's very, very hard to beat.
But what I would have liked is if they had like a where is it?
Come here.
A thing like I have on here where I can go in and change the theme.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been able to do that on this.
You can, but you'd have to take the panel out, and you'd have to pull the whole board assembly down, and then hook up a dongle to it, and then do it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm too heavy-handed. I'd probably bust it.
Oh, well,
I'm too
anybody would.
heavy-handed.
Anybody would. I'd be afraid to do it.
You see, Cheryl's so heavy-handed. One swing and I'll get knocked out.
Yeah. You'll know if I slap you.
I wasn't talking about open.
I'm
I was
very
talking about closing.
heavy-handed.
I wasn't talking about open. I was talking about closed.
Cody, come here.
You know, every time Brian mentions his dog's name, I really start thinking about the Garfield TV show, the animated one.
Oh, Odie.
Yeah.
Good old Odie. Yeah.
I love Odie.
He looks like he could be the real Odie. He just
Aww.
it's his demeanor.
You know,
He's
every
very
time I watch,
protective.
every time I watch Garfield growing up, I always like Garfield himself for being a fat, lazy ass cat. It also reminds me of Nick's cat Chewy.
There you go. I wonder where Mr. Vapin' Fagan is tonight.
I don't know, but he's online on his Vapin' Fagan Facebook channel.
He's not?
No, he's online his Vapin' Fagan Facebook.
Oh,
But
okay.
that don't mean anything. He could be posting stuff.
Yeah. Or
He could
somebody
be posting porn.
for him. It's just one
Yeah,
of those
fake
things.
porn.
The only thing I disagree with him on doing the videos is going to the bar and doing the video there. It's to me it's not interesting, But it's his gig and that's what he did. I would prefer just a good round table discussion like we do, That's kind of a neat thing to do.
Yeah, I like his bar things, and not just bars. When he goes to restaurants and to the store and stuff, because where I don't go to places like that, I can actually see what they really look like, because I
Right.
don't go to bars or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's never been my thing. I think I've been to a bar maybe once. I was 13. My stepmother had gotten lost, and she sent me into the bar to ask the bartender directions to where we were going. That was the first time I was ever in a bar. The time after that was the open bar that I had at my first wedding. And that was it for my bar experience. I don't do bars. I've never
Freaking
been
Nick.
on-
Nick says my OnlyFans page will be up next month.
Ooh, I will be the first one on there.
Woohoo! Well, it's like me. I think I went to more strip clubs than I did bars.
Never been to a strip club.
They were always fun. Always fun. I like what Nick said. My OnlyFans page will be up next month. That's too hilarious.
And what will you be posting on your OnlyFans page?
Hey, don't get him started. Do not get him started.
I think what he's doing is gearing up for 4th of July. He's going to be on his motorcycle with the Mark Fagan bikini special, the mankini.
I would love that.
And Mark's going to be right behind him on a bicycle. And he's going to have Roger in a side cart with a Roger cam on.
The Mankini special.
Oh, man. That would be really, really funny. That's too funny. That's what I told Mark. I said, you got to get Roger a Roger cam, Get him a little side cart for the bike rides. And that would be kind of cool. Well, it's like, he goes by Mickey Love sometimes over in the UK. Walking with Mick. Now, if you want to see some really, really interesting places you never had an opportunity to see, go check out Walking with Mick. He's out of the UK. He does a fantastic job, and sometimes he uses his drone. But some of the places are so unique, you would never think that existed, But it's kind of neat. You just sit back. If you got nothing better to do, check him out. And he goes to some interesting places. But if you think about it, YouTube has got a multitude of different possibilities. And that's why I told Cheryl she needed to get her own show with just her handiwork. And Nick, he's got a great opportunity, get his own channel going. Motorcycle rides, put a camera on the bike and do his thing. And people get to see different viewpoints of different people.
Yep.
And it's kind of cool. That's like I posted those two videos on my 3D printer. It shows a time lapse on how they print. That's just interesting. I think you got Nick tongue tied there. He's like, I don't know what to say.
Well, if he explores to see what kind of fetishes our women are into, he gears it towards that, or to a couple of them, he could get a really good following, make some good money.
He's already floating his coupon code discount. $20 instead of $40.
He said $20 will get you one thing for me to do.
He needs to go on Pornhub and see what women are into, because there's certain ones that women are into.
Well, look at Jay Hayes. He was into toe sucking. That's a little out there.
Jesus Christ.
There you go. He's got it. Women can make money, so can he, I say we get Mark Fagan to do a pole dance.
Shit.
Put him in his mankini and do a pole dance.
Wow.
Oh, Nick's thinking about doing some gymnastics in bed there. Oh, man. Oh, he's going to have a carnubial conniption with that. Getting the right angle. Woohoo! How about the right hole, Nick?
Sorry, Dylan, you can't do it before a woman. Jesus Christ, Nick, you're cheating on me already.
Oh,
and
man.
I thought I was the slut between me and Nick.
Yeah.
Nope. You don't have double D's. You ain't big enough for him.
Nick, you gotta figure out how to way to do it on the motorcycle with a young lady and have a car film it while you're riding.
Well, actually, no. What he can do is have, when he's riding on the bike, she's in front of him, straddling around him, and he have his cam around his neck, geared down towards the two of them.
Oh, yeah.
Going at it. He get plenty of good footage.
Yep.
He would be banned on YouTube in about 2 minutes.
Not even 2 minutes. I give it a minute and a half.
On OnlyFans, he make a lot of money.
I think you'd have to do that on something like Twitch, you know.
We're streaming on Twitch now too.
So all you Twitch fans out there, yeah, join in on the fun. Oh, something went wrong.
Yeah, he's dumped you, Dylan.
I'm not.
Until you get a sex change, forget about it.
He said Dylan would be a tad weird, a man naked and a guy filming.
What happened there? Something happened on your end?
No, because we're still live.
Yeah, I got kind of cut off there, but that's okay. No big deal.
Brian, right when you got cut off, Nick said, Dylan, it will be a tad weird, a man naked and a guy filming. He said that's not going to keep me rocking solid.
There you go. Looks like chat disappeared. For whatever reason.
I don't know, but we've been going for like 2 hours straight.
Oh, is it past your nappy time?
No, but I'm concerned about your old lady nap.
Oh, my old lady nap started at 3 o'clock. This is around time I usually wake up from my old lady nap. I'm past that now.
She's like, screw my old lady nap at this point.
Yep.
Dylan, when you buying your new PC?
As soon as I get my taxes in.
Yeah.
Probably do like what Cheryl did, get my laptop right from Amazon.
I've never had a problem getting anything from them like that.
Well, yeah, a lot of people ding Amazon because of their pricing policies sometimes. Because you'll buy one item this week, next week it's cheaper. But you know what? That's the way it rolls. But Amazon's good enough where when you buy something, you're guaranteed to get it. I mean, it's coming. You know, I bought stuff off of Walmart before and had it delivered, but they're not as good as Amazon. Amazon got their game down.
Oh yeah,
they really do.
No, even with the laptop that I was looking at on Amazon,
yeah,
they're saying that I would have gotten, if I ordered, let's say, the laptop today, I would rather get it the next day or the day after.
Oh yeah. And, well, I know there was a couple of times that I needed something in a hurry, paid for the 2-day shipping. And
Cheryl, behave yourself.
There in the next day, you know.
I don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
you sure as hell know what I'm talking about. But yeah, Brian, with Amazon, with the computer that I'm looking at being at the price that it's at,
yeah,
with the taxes making it, $423 and change,
yeah.
The only option for shipping that they're offering, of course, is the free shipping, which is another reason why they're saying, "Oh yeah, we'll get it to you within the next day or the day after."
Right.
Which is kind of good in a way.
Well, it's like if you buy something from Amazon and it's delivered, you got 24 hours to purchase another thing with free shipping. So that's not bad,
Yeah.
You could buy a $10 item the next day and get free shipping, and I've done that before.
Oh yeah.
So they're good about it,
It's beautiful.
But a lot of times, though, if I'm going to buy something, I usually buy everything together. It's a lot easier that way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm Dylan Show. Yes, he's wearing clothes. Yes.
Avi, stop judging me.
Not trash bags.
Trash bags?
Aviana, stop judging me.
You positive it's not trash bags?
I'm positive.
I know you're not talking shit.
She's beautiful. She'd be beautiful in a trash bag. So
Wait.
my baby girl is drop dead gorgeous.
There you go.
Especially for being a midget.
It had a couple of
It don't matter. She's short. She's supposed to be short. She's a girl.
You stop judging me.
I'm not judging you, but if the shoe fits, I mean.
Well, you got to think of it this way. We were talking about clones before. Dylan's a clone.
I was just
No,
gonna say that.
no, I'm not a clone. I'm a test tube experiment. Let's get it right.
You're
he
a
was
clown.
he was a test tube experiment. Just didn't turn out that well.
Exactly.
He escaped after full growth after 24 hours.
Facts.
That's why he wears the red hoodie. Nobody
Facts.
can find him. He just has to be careful that ice doesn't pick him up.
That's why I be hidden in plain sight and they can't find me.
Hide in plain sight.
Yep. Marky says, Dylan, stop touching yourself.
Hey, if it feels good, do it.
Exactly.
There you go.
And Nick says
Well,
that
you're not
haircut looks
supposed
good.
to do that on camera. What? You masturbate
As-
when you go into the bathroom. That's what your
As Nick's-
bathroom break was for. Damn
As
it,
Nick
Dylan.
says, hold on. As Nick says, that haircut looks good though. Thank you.
Now, Dylan, I have one pending question here for you
Yes.
that has been weighing heavy on my mind. Do you hold on to the wall in the shower?
Nope. Nope.
He has a special railing on the side there that he can hang on to
Oh.
while he uses his other hand.
And they wonder why he carries a rubber ducky into the shower.
Oh shit! Now I gotta clean the mess.
You're so fun.
Oh, man. See, that's the beauty of this, because we can rib each other all we want. Nobody takes any offense to it,
Exactly.
Yep. Oh, that's great.
Wait a minute. Dylan likes to drop the soap.
Who said that?
Nick said, "Don't drop the soap," and I said, "He likes to drop the soap."
Nick, I'm not dropping nothing. Because if I was to drop the soap, Nick, I gotta make sure you're standing behind me.
Dylan buys soap on a rope just in case he has to go to jail. He knows how to do
Exactly.
it. Oh, man.
Oh, he said I got a new mod on the way here shortly at the end of the month. Got new panels coming for the coffin.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
I forgot he picked that up. Nick's like, whoa.
That's a very unique mod if you think about it, That's something that somebody had a genius idea, produced the mod, and it went over well. Of course, if you got the money for it, why not, Everything costs in this world.
Yep.
And it's getting worse, too. It's like, another buddy of mine, he says, well, in Minnesota, they're only paying something for a dozen of eggs. And I'm at the grocery store the other day at Kroger's, and it's still 10 something. It's like, why the gouge, There's
Right.
no reason for
Where
that.
you live.
Yeah.
He said this mod has been in the making for months.
Aha. See, that's another thing, like when Cheryl's got the Juma Wood mod. I wish a lot more manufacturers would do stuff like that with those colors and the Juma Wood, because that would sell. It's something that it's not stabilized wood. You're looking at something different. And
I
That-
love
that's-
stabilized wood. I can't
oh,
find
me too. Me too.
That's why when Nick was showing me all the mods that he was selling, and that Vidar was there, my father had to pick that up.
Yeah, the stabilized wood is excellent. And you remember about 6, 7, or 8 years ago, stabilized wood, people were into it and they were making custom mods.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden they just disappeared.
First, I think the companies went out of business was freaking what's it called? Vicious Ant. Then,
Well, we've got Laura Warham in. How we doing, Laura? She
which
says,
I have
"Hey,
no idea
everyone."
who this is.
That's okay. She's more than welcome to come in and join the fun, and nothing wrong with that. We're all human.
Exactly.
But, yeah, see,
Yep.
Nick's being nice to her.
Yes.
He's trying to build his fan base.
Nick, behave yourself.
Nick is always a sweetheart and a gentleman.
Hey, is Devin going to do a show tonight or what?
I believe so. I just have to talk to him after the stream's done.
Yeah. So, Cheryl, you think I should actually replace the black with the orange, right?
Yes.
All right. I will do so tonight. I will print out a button and the bottom plate for it, and the inner
Yeah, she
plate.
says don't listen to Dylan.
Yes. Please don't. Not at all.
Yeah.
No show. He must have talking to Devin already.
Who?
Eric. He just said no show in all caps.
No show. No show. I'm surprised he doesn't just do
Area.
doesn't just do YouTube. You know, YouTube will work too. You know.
Right, and that's what I told him as well.
Because a lot of people are under the assumption you need Rumble, you need OBS, or YouTube will do the same thing, you know, and just
Yeah.
you can't do all the fancy stuff with your microphone and add-ons, the overlays, and all that other stuff, but it still works. Yeah, Six Pack Kid. I've seen that. Actually, they have a certain filament now that Nick just mentioned that you can actually do logos for T-shirts and stuff, and you print it out with your 3D printer, and then you just put it on, iron it on, and it's like permanent. And you can actually do 3D printed shoes and everything. You know, as long as you got the big enough printer for what you need to do, then you could do that. Are you three back on here tomorrow daytime? Well, Laura, we do this on Fridays around 2 o'clock, and it's going to change to about 1:30 in the afternoon. So you're more than welcome to join in at any time you want to.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to have you back on. So every Friday, Laura, you just come on at 1:30, look in YouTube, and you'll see Dylan's channel there, Bus Squad.
Laura? Where are you from, Laura? She may be in another country in a different time zone. It'd probably be easier for her to come in on a Saturday. That's why she's asking.
Yeah, and it's just Fridays for now. I mean, it's probably Australia. Well, that's good, Laura. We'd love to have you coming back again and joining us. Matter of fact, we'll post links if you ever want to join in on the webcam. You're more than welcome to join in. You know, we welcome everybody. And the more the merrier, right? And what's nice is, like, you know, we had BVG on, and he's from the UK, and
we've had
different
Big on
viewpoints from different people.
Birkenhead. I don't even know where the fuck that's at.
Where is Birkenhead at, Laura?
Australia.
It's probably Australia.
Yeah.
Let's look it up.
I'm about to do the same thing because I have no idea. England.
Yeah, that's cool. That'd be great to have you on.
You can, yeah.
There we go. Well, Well, that's nice, to see that different people from different cultures come on too, because
Yep.
we get a diverse pool of people, and you get their viewpoints as well.
Yeah.
'Cause we're all people in this country and globally, the rest of the world. We're all human beings, and
Yep.
it's just nice to see people coming in from different angles of the globe and joining in on the fun.
No, for sure.
Looks like Cheryl's going to fall asleep without that coffee.
No, I like this Juma, but it really goes through batteries quick.
That's what Brian was saying about the Dicodes mod.
Yeah, my Dicodes mod, if it's a molocell, it kills the battery real quick. The best luck on batteries I've got is the Sony Murata VTC6 series. Get a couple of those and they'll last forever.
That goes up there. That goes in the pile that has to be charged. I need to get a bigger charger. I have a thing that only charges one battery at a time.
Pick yourself up a 4-bay or 8-bay. Sometimes Amazon's got them on sale on the 4-bays for like $12.
Yeah, but I got a grandbaby I've been buying for,
Ah,
and Daddy hasn't stepped up, and baby needs just the basic toys. And he has a lot of clothes that was given to her that he can
Yeah.
still go into, but just the basic. I bought the walker for him that he sits in. He loves it. When my son passed, he had a bunch of money still left on his card, so we
Right.
used that to buy the stroller. My sister bought the pack and play for him to sleep in. So now I'm getting him a bouncy seat.
yeah.
Also has an attachment to put a swing on,
Oh, okay.
and just toys. He has no toys. I mean, I can crochet him all the stuffed animals in the world, but it ain't the same as playing with blocks and trucks and things that a
Right,
boy,
right.
a new kid likes to play with.
Right.
Well, when you're a young kid, then you need to play with something because it gets your imagination going, and it works your mind, so you start to develop different thought processes on how things go together, how they work. That's all educational right there. A lot of people think toys for kids are stupid. It's not. It's an educational tool. It teaches them how things are done.
Yep.
Yep.
I put it this way: when people tinkered as a kid, and then all of a sudden they grow up and they develop the railway system for the United States, they weren't just playing stupid, and they weren't just out there playing with junk. They were learning. And that's how people learn and pick up on things. Well, folks, we are coming up upon 2 hours and 18 minutes.
Yes,
I
sir.
would think we should call it a day,
Yes.
take a bit of a break. It's been a great show, and thanks for coming on, Cheryl.
Yes.
And
And
we
thank
have
you,
to-
Job Vapes.
We have to thank Jeff Apes for making a visit with us, and that was real nice of him to do. And we're probably going to see him next week if we start a half an hour earlier,
Yes.
and that'll work. And for now, folks, peace.
Night.
Have a great day, and enjoy your weekend, and be safe out there.
Yes. Later.
Yeah, we should do
Bye-bye.
5 hours like Nick said.
Fuck that.
Oh, why not?
I'm not doing 5 hours. But later, everybody.